Well, it was like a war zone. Boats and craft going in had collapsed all the walls. There were oil tanks floating down the road. There were gas tanks venting gas to the air. The emergency services wouldn't come in because they just couldn't. Things were just left to get on with it. And Moorland was like an abandoned village. There was nobody living there, and none of the houses were capable of people living there. Absolutely appalling. I've never seen anything like it.
It got to the stage where the water was in the field behind us, and then one morning Ash rang me and said that the water was in the garden, in the back of the garden where we'd never ever seen it before. And literally the day after that, that was when the village was put on severe flood alert.
I don't think we were concerned until then, because
No.
the flooding of the moors is a normal event, but once it started to block the access to the village, then people started to leave the village, didn't they?
We built a bund on the Thursday evening. The whole village was here moving sandbags, and it literally came across the back of our garden and across the field. The bund at that point was in place holding it back, but it was just a complete sea of water. The water was starting to come round the side of the bund and up onto the decking, and we realised that we actually couldn't, there was nothing more we could do.
We'd left the day before with no water in, and it had gone up 2 feet overnight, so everything we worked for was under 2 feet of pretty muddy water. It was not like a swimming pool, it wasn't clean and pristine, it was pretty grotty stuff.
To put a few meagre possessions in a rucksack and just walk away from what is your home, I look back and I just can't really explain how awful it was. I mean, emotionally it was terrible.
Alison didn't come in with me the first time, she didn't want to come, and also we'd only borrowed one pair of waders, she couldn't get in. And she was on the phone to me, and I just broke down. I couldn't take it anymore. And sometimes I just find it very, very difficult coming back. Just absolutely devastating. And when we went out, it was February the 7th. To be told you might not be back by Christmas, you know, is pretty hard to take.
I think it was just the fact that we rang somebody initially before we were even flooded, and they reassured us that about our cover, what we were covered for, what would happen, sort of set our minds at rest as much as your mind can be set at rest at a time like that. But it was just their attitude. They were very positive and reassured us and told us what would happen. It helped in a really stressful situation, having that sort of support. AXA
have been bloody good about all this. They really have, you know. Firm but fair is the phrase I would use, and everybody's made it a lot easier than it could have been.
The garden has survived amazingly well. That was our main fear, because we knew that someone else would put the house back together for us, but no one would do the garden. We'd put a lot of hard work into it.
When I retired from the military, one of the things we wanted to do was to renovate an old garden like this, and AXA specifically had good cover for things that were out in the open. As far as I'm concerned, the garden's for us to get on and do. AXA are providing the money to replace the stuff, and we're going to get on and do it ourselves.
Now we're looking forward to the house being put back to normal, moving out of our rented house, and that it never happens again.
The house is going to be tanked on the 19th of May, and they're going to try and get us in there sometime in September, which is better news than we originally first thought. And a lot of that's down to the fact of the flexibility of AXA. People say moving house is stressful. No, having a flood is stressful. And that's why it's absolutely crucial that we made the right decision on who to get insured with. Our 33rd wedding anniversary is the 23rd of October, we're going to be here, and we are going to have a barbecue or a roast when we're back here, and invite all the people who've helped us and have contributed to this to come back and say thank you.